Okay.
Right.
So what you're about to do here, I don't really like.
30
Like,
seconds to
you
battle.
saw him, he saw you, and you still place the ward. Even though if he's smart, he clicks on you and sees that you have an obs and sentry. This should get dewarded immediately if they're smart. And yeah. Even if you were to place it, I would rather have it be placed back here so that the void doesn't get double stunned by leaning in the fog. Yeah. Like, this doesn't help if the enemy is playing in the trees here or up here.
The battle begins.
I'm gonna assume that's just a mistiming thing, not that big of a deal. But as you saw there, what needs to be considered in this lane is the double stun and their burst. So the way to protect Void would be to have him farm under tower where he can't really be double stunned and just killed from like whatever amount of HP he's at. So your highest priority should be pulling creeps, either by cutting through this tree and pulling at 18 here, or by pulling over here. Because you can't actually fight Lena. She has much better base stats than you. Like, if you don't know, Lena has 62 base damage and 5 armor. No matter what, you're going to lose this trade. So, it's best to just pull and not really worry about like playing the lane unless they come to contest your pull. That's good. Range creep. Yeah, and did you see your ups got dewarded immediately because they saw you place it? This is good. I'd like you to be at least checking on your void with your camera. As I say that. Because pulling doesn't require you to really look at the creeps that much. I want you to go down here and pull this next wave up to catch your wave over here. Because, like, you can't do anything right now. Like, this does nothing. Right, and now it's gonna probably push out because you have a double wave with slightly more creep than they do. You should also start the next pull here. Like, you don't do anything in this lane, honestly. Okay, since I haven't seen you do it, I'm gonna make sure you know how to do this pull. What you do is you hit these creeps at either 18 or 48, and you pull them up through this one tree here. You can tango it down, and then if you stand right about here, the creeps will hit you once, and your creeps will be right about here. You can get a pull and, yeah, keep your void safe under a tower. Considering it's night, I would like to see a smoke and ward spot and placed. Because right now, as Invoker, I would feel very scared to play Dota. Knowing that Lina could come gank. Same for your void, because now this is when I would want like a ward, especially. Because I have levels, and he can definitely die. Okay, you've died twice. If you come back to this lane a third time, I will be not happy. Like, you do literally nothing here. Play somewhere else. Like... ward, please! Use smokes, buy wards. Try to secure maybe bottom lane or mid lane. You can't be anywhere near the creeps or where the Lina and Mars are together, really. So pull, split them up, let Void get farm 1v1 versus Mars, at least. See, like, okay. Going back a bit. You see, this Rubik is, like, doing your job of warding because you weren't doing it. Like, he ends up getting a kill because with the wards they know that there's no, like, help coming. So. As like a 5, your job is to do wards and support lane, right? Because you can't support lane, you should go ward. And the ward that I would have liked to see would have been probably one around here to see the Lina coming from the top lane to gank the Invoker. And I'd want one somewhere in their jungle because Sniper can easily just like shrapnel farm camps and stack them. Yeah. Okay, from here, this is fine. Though I would no longer be pulling because your void is left. Right, because now you are going to be taking the lane as Coddle. And all you have to do is protect the tower, which means you should be hiding in the trees here and like blasting out the wave with Illuminate. Spaceless is no longer in danger, there's no need to pull. That just opens up your tower to getting killed by their siege creep, which happens to be here. It's pretty decent plays by your team, but like, it's just there's no. It just doesn't matter. Like, none of them should have to be there. Okay, now this is the consequence of you incorrectly defending your tower. Not necessarily this, but you forced 3 of your teammates to TP up, and then you TP'd up after as well. So you have 4 TPs on cooldown. And Slark is alone bottom, free farming. Sniper's not getting pressured mid. Because you have 4 people top. As well. He doesn't have to play scared. So he can be farming away like 2.5 camps and pushing out the mid wave. Whereas Invoker can't do that yet, I'm assuming. Yeah, he might be able to get this camp. But yeah. I don't like you positioning up this far. Like, why are you up here? I get you want to kill the wave, but that's not your job. Like, you should be trying to save people with blinding light after they get gone on. Right now, you don't have Will-O-Wisps, you don't have Chrono, you don't have borrowed time. I don't like fighting in this area. I almost feel like your team got baited because you were so far in. Again, I have the same problem. Are you the 5 or the 4? Like, I have a problem with this being fully in stock. I have a problem with this fully being in stock. Like, all 3 of these, if they ever are fully stocked, you're doing something wrong. Like, for this one, maybe past, like, 4 minutes, then it becomes a mistake. But these 2 should never be fully in stock. Because there's not enough sentries in Dota right now with the cap. And if you haven't bought out all the sentries, you're probably going to lose the Vision War.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling.
Well, it's good the sniper's gifting himself to you guys. See, okay, look at this, look at this, look at this. Imagine if you had wards right now.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You'd be able to see all of their people coming if you put a ward up here, I'm pretty sure.
Structures are fortified.
Like, if you came down here with wards, dropped the obs right here, you can see any rotations in here, you'll be able to see the Dazzle and the Mars coming. And your team won't get destroyed, I'm assuming. it's like you're walking around without placing wards and not thinking about why you need the wards. Because you were sitting 4 on low ground when there's a TP location right here. When you're sieging the T2. Without your void. Like that's basically those are all your mistakes right there. Like you got the T1, but you can't, like normally I would say you would control this area after you take the T1 and T1 middle. You'd control the enemy jungle, keeping this wave out and this wave out. With one person relieving pressure up here and jungling a couple camps here. But you couldn't do that because you didn't have wards and sentries in your inventory to prep for that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Under attack. Is under attack.
I wasn't sure whether I wanted to comment on this OBS or not. I don't particularly like it. I'd rather have you just stand on the high ground here. Because your team doesn't want to control this area after you take the T2 here. How do I, like... How do I explain this? Your Invoker's really far. There's no way he's going to be over here. You just use Chrono. And the enemy team still has all their ults. So you controlling this area is very hard to do. Which is why I don't like this OBS here. Like you take... Okay, like... These hill visions, like this one, this one, this one, like all 3 of these, are to control the area. Like here, you get 2 entrances to the jungle, which means you can control the area. Same thing here, you get 2 entrances to the jungle. This one's slightly different because it's generally a ward you fight around, like to the T1, to either guard or destroy the T1. But this, yeah, I don't like it that much because you don't want to be there in like within the next like minute. I'd like to see you go middle soon to push out waves. Okay. They're still playing away from Slark because he's not farmed enough to like contribute all that much yet. Like he has defusal and drums or whatever. He still dies to Chrono. So it makes sense that they're playing away from Slark. And what their next objective is the T1 middle, which is where I would want to see you go. And during this entire time, I just didn't check middle for a bit. Okay, now you're here, which is good. I, I don't like the rest of your team being here, but that's just how pubs are. Because the whole idea of Coddle is actually not the whole idea, but a big portion of the idea of Coddle is that you can push out waves safely and defend towers without ever showing as a support, which means you're expendable, but you can defend towers.
Radiant's top tower.
I like the smoke, sort of. I would like this smoke if you guys were heading to the bottom lane, because you actually have an objective over there. And you also have a wave pushing out toward that tower. Here, you're smoking to kill here and take this tower. That's what it looks like to me. Like, this is like, okay. You guys won the fight, but that wasn't because that's basically a coin flip whether which team mispositions more. Because you have no vision going up the high ground. They have a shrine. You have no vision. They had this high ground vision. So if they all just back off to this and then jump you around their vision, or back off to the shrine and jump you around the shrine, you should lose that fight. It's literally a matter of them screwing up. Like, your team is good and they're hitting spells, which is why you're winning these fights. But it shouldn't be... You should be stacking things more in your favor. Like, these are just like 50-50 fights on who screws up more. Now, I would say get out. No ults. Okay, good. I want to rewind just to check something. Never mind. It's not it. It's nothing important. Okay. Okay, good. And you're smoking again to the top lane. Except this time the wave's pushing away from you. You get nothing out of this smoke gank, I guarantee it. Good job, you traded bounty runes. Okay. Like, this whole thing is just like... The enemy team is just, like, screwing up. This Roche should not have been, like... How did they let this Roche happen? Why is this Mars going to, like, trying to kill you?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, I guess the smoke worked. I would not say I would not have done the same. But this whole game kind of feels like your team is just hitting spells. That's what this game feels like. Okay, good call. Go for bottom. You have all the advantages you need. That's fine. As a 5, you should be making these kind of calls. I like the ward, because now you can control this area, and you're also fighting around this tower. This is much better than the last time. See, this is good. You've stacked everything in your favor. You got yourself high ground vision. You had all your ults. You had Aegis. Like, this is how you're supposed to take fights. And, like, set up for tower pushes and stuff. Whereas, like, when you smoked up the high ground the first time over by their shrine, you had no idea what was up there. Okay. Right here. As soon as I see this, I'm backing the frick away. This courier means there's someone over here. And since you didn't see anyone with this ward, it's highly likely that they are smoked. I don't mind this, but I would rather you be with your team right now.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
Like, this is fine.
Radiant's top shrine has
Like,
fallen.
but if you were there at the T3 middle, you might have been able to get it. It's not that big of a deal. It's still okay, because you're getting a wave into their Rex, which could let you take a 5v4 fight over here.
Radiant's top
Is this game a win? It's not a win. It certainly feels like it should be a win, considering your team is hitting so many spells without, like, any vision or anything. But this is a throw at some point. And there's Yep, okay. Honestly, there isn't much else to really talk about this in the there isn't much else to talk about in this replay. Your wards were early on were pretty questionable, and you needed to preemptively have wards ready when you went for smoke ganks, when you went for tower pushes. Yeah. And it felt like your team was doing okay and winning fights mainly just because of skill. Not really anything in particular that you did. And you feeling questionably useful, maybe, maybe not, is probably why you submitted this as a replay. Yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the Rubik replay. Is this the right one? 5109. Okay, this looks like it is.
Your turn to ban.
Oh, this one's in the bag.
Preparing for battle.
Okay, I like the items.
30 seconds.
Hold on,
to
what's
battle.
going to happen? Looking at their lineup, you're probably up against Slark, Lich, right? And your off lane is probably against Pudge, Lashhacker, Pudge, Ricky. So you are laning against Slark, Lich. You should try to be aggressive level 1. Definitely Fable to secure range creep, because otherwise your clock has to go in and possibly get hit a couple times by Slark and then frost shielded, which could make your lane really hard. Okay, this is good so far. Chasing too far now, and you're gonna lose 2 runes? 1 rune. That should have definitely. Yeah, I don't think you should have chased that far. Like, you're a slow hero, you wouldn't have made it. Definitely should have been back here at the rune spawn, because then, well, I mean, Lich could have just came in, grabbed this, and then went for your other rune as well. That's what should have happened. Okay, good zap. I'd like you to pull right or very soon. Like now, head back to pull. So over here you should be pulling at 18. Pull it out this way. Get your creep wave back. Because you're not pressuring them when they're behind their tower, under the tower, etc. There's no way you're gonna do that with your Clockwork Rubik lineup. So you can only pressure them while the wave is somewhere in the middle or closer to your side, because then you can actually chase using the battery assault. Like, doing this is literally nothing. This is literally nothing right now, both of you. Like, imagine if you do that, right? Imagine if you do that same play, except you do it over here. Then you could still chase him with battery assault. And he probably dies. Stack the camp. Then you can get pulls out for free. Okay. No matter what, it's more, or whether you're 4 or 5, what you should be doing is pulling. Because if your carry's weak, you want the lane near or under your tower, so that they can farm safely. If the wave is pushed up, you want to pull it back. If you're strong. If you're the stronger lane, like in this one, I would consider you guys the stronger lane. You want it pulled back so you have kill threat. And if the lane is an even matchup, you want to pull it so that you get more EXP than your opponent, so that you can build up an advantage and win the lane. Like, no matter what, if you don't pull, you're doing something wrong in lane. Why are you sitting back there now? Okay, he chases you. He survived. Now you should go hit him and fade bolt him. Because his Lich is died. His Lich just died. He's not gonna have some support for a little bit because the Lich has to TP here, then walk over. Like, this is a good time to harass him. Like, the last, like, 5 to 6 seconds were a great time to, like, just harass this guy and make him... force him to use any regen? No, he doesn't have any more regen. You could have just bullied him out of the lane until he hit 6 by forming, like... or you may force him to use the Shrine. But you're sitting back for some reason? Yeah, he probably would have died if you actually, like, harassed him early. Now this lane is very hard for you guys to play. And very easy for the Sark to play, because he just goes, hits you guys, and then walks away and heals. I would say now you should probably look to rotate with a smoke. Maybe go middle. Like, with a smoke and dust, and maybe go middle to try to kill Ricky. Okay, I'm just gonna move on to after you leave, because you don't do anything in this lane anymore. Yeah, now it's time for you to play around your team. Like, you should probably move the Jug up to the top lane, since you're in a 5-stack. Like, you move the Jug to the top lane, and, like, you possibly bring everyone just to try to kill the tower. Right now you have, I don't know, like, there isn't much for you to do unless you're grouping with your team. Like, you probably need 3 heroes to do something in this game right now. Because the Ricky's pretty far ahead, I'm assuming.
Dire's bottom bottom tower is
No?
under attack.
He's kind of far ahead. I see how you're just wandering around. Like, you can't do anything unless you have a teammate because you're Rubik. You don't have enough damage.
Is under attack.
So this game is real awkward because you're not with your team. It's really just a matter of like knowing what your hero does. And now you guys are free training one by one. Nice.
Bottom tower.
I don't know, that just looked like a featuring. Whatever. Miscommunication maybe. Okay, good. Now you're bringing 4 heroes up to the top lane to take this tower. Please do. I would say you should save your lift for whoever is getting killed by Ricky or Pudge ult. There isn't particularly a spell that you need to steal this game, so yeah. I would definitely like to see some dust on you though. If you're a 4, you should have enough money for dust. Like, this is fine. This is good. You guys should take this tower, nice. Okay. Doing your Bastion though, for the tower push.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No bracers. Go for 4 staff. You're against a Ricky. You need a 4 staff.
Dire's middle tower
Maybe 1
is under
bracer,
attack.
but I don't think you go for 2 bracers.
Are fortified.
You need to save your Ember and your Jug from Ricky. Same for Slark. Like, both of them are countered by 4 staff. If you get 4 staff, this game is very easy. Like, straight up, if your team puts like 3 4 staffs, you guys win. Like, their 2 cores are like countered by 4 staff. Okay, good, you have dust. Nice. That's good. You guys take another tower. Like, as a 4, it's a lot more about itemizing than as a 5. As a 5, your job is to, like, ward more and place proper wards. As a 5, you need to itemize to be useful.
Radiant's top tower
Because you're gonna have money because you don't buy wards. When do you get 4 staff this game? That's what I need to know. Like, I would say as a team, you guys are playing really well. Like, you're grouping up, making sure that Ricky doesn't get solo picks. But your items need to be a bit more, like, it's... As a 4, you need to buy the right items quickly, basically. Or, if you're not going to buy the right items quickly, you need to be warding to help your 5. Like, I don't think you need arcane boots this game. This is pretty useless. Like, if you go double bracer and skip the arcane boots, that's fine. Because you have a CM on your team. Maybe just ferry out some clarities.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Okay.
attack.
I don't like Ags. Get Glimmer. I'd like to see a Glimmer or a Blink. Because you have no catch other than Clockwork, really. So I'd like to see you be the catch. But right now you need a 4-step first, right? Then your second item should be something to help you catch. I like Glimmer more because it also has save potential. But being able to Glimmer and grab someone is pretty important. Because you can't, like, you need to be able to jump Ricky. Clockwork kinda does that, but Ricky can, like, use tricks. But if you can permastun the Ricky, you win pretty much every fight. Or if you pick up the Leshrac early as well. Like, if you pick up these two, fights are very hard for the other team. They don't have enough damage.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know, this entire game, like, as a team, you guys are playing well. It's like, you're just keeping each other safe from Ricky, like, but do you guys have a medallion yet? I have no idea why the enemy team fought outside their base. They're idiots, but good for you. You need... Actually, like, Medallion is good too. Like, you can go Medallion, and then your team has the ability to take Roche. Right? Because that's what you were having problems with. Like, for the last, like, couple minutes. You guys took all the towers, and then you're like, well, we're out of objectives and we can't go high ground. So your objective naturally would be Roche. Which means someone on your team needs a medallion, and you also need a smoke to get a pick. And I think you guys would have just, like, dicked around for the next 5 minutes if the enemy team didn't feed themselves to you. Right now I would say you need a dust in your inventory and a smoke in your backpack. For sure. Like, if the enemy team stops being stupid and taking fights outside of the base, this game is very hard for you. A forge's job is to get the items needed to win the game. Okay, you guys are finally taking Roche, probably 10, maybe 8 to 10 minutes after you should have, but it's good. Now this game should be very easy. Should be able to get another set of racks. You guys don't throw this. Please tell me you don't throw this game. How do you throw this game? I'm legitimately confused how you guys throw this game. Like, if Ember puts a remnant down and TP's back right now, your Jug can go bottom and take the last set of racks and you win. Okay, wait. I think I know why. The only one on your team with any vision is your CM, and it was backpacked. Same for your Clockwork. Can't play against Ricky without vision. Like, this is literally just you guys throwing because
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
you guys don't have vision.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Like, hell, if you go Glimmer Gem this game is very easy. Like, you go Glimmer Gem, like, you go Glimmer, you get Gem, and then you just control an area like this one, get these 2 lanes in all the time, and the enemy, like, has no options. Sure. Yep, this game is poor itemization from you. Not taking Roshan. Yeah, okay. So this game, poor itemization from you. Like, this axis literally 0 things in this game. Like, there's no spell you have to steal in particular. It's better if you just save your team. Kinda needed to take Roche earlier, so Medallion, Glimmer, something like that. Then you guys weren't holding Dust for a while. And then you guys just threw the game. Like, there isn't, like, if you throw the game, that's on you. Like, you had the ability to win, but you didn't get a gem, and you didn't sit on their high ground. Not on their, but like on their triangle. You didn't sit on their triangle, and like just control that area until they screwed up. That's what you should have done. Buy a gem, get Glimmer, get Medallion. Sit in their triangle after you get the 2 racks. Like, get the 2 racks, everyone back, then you go up, sit on their triangle until they screw up, and then you win the game.